So you get a private class with me on how to find local disclosures. So you've done a little bit of real estate, so you probably do know that in some areas there are special disclosures depending on the city or the county and particular ordinances that might be there, specific information that needs to be relayed. Some of it is always going to be addressed in your natural hazard report, such as like flood zones and earthquake hazard areas, wildfire, those kinds of things that are considered natural hazard. But sometimes you'll have a specific city or county that also has additional disclosures. And since you are on the Zillow Flex team, you're doing a lot of fire leads, you might be showing property and writing offers in a number of areas in a wide range of counties, right? So if you're doing something in San Jose or Richmond or San Pablo or Hayward, you might not be aware of local disclosures that are required in those areas because you're not like super local to that particular niche area. So you live out here and you do know about Discovery Bay and how it's like a special little community that has like this lovely blue algae or green algae that blooms when it's really hot, and the water doesn't get enough circulation and it can be toxic to animals and kids and humans and all that. But if you were moving to California from like Minnesota and you went to look at property in Discovery Bay and you're blown away by, you know, living on the water and you can swim every day, you close escrow and nobody tells you about it. And you have your family come and, you know, in July or August when it's really hot and you're in one of those little back coves and your dog jumps in and goes swimming and is fetching a stick and all of a sudden it's, you know, poisoned, you would be pretty pissed off if nobody told you about that, right? Because now your view of what this property is worth could be altered and you might not want to live there anymore. So these areas have these special disclosures for reasons, and it's typically because there was a legal issue that involved something in that particular area that created the need for a local disclosure or an addendum or something like that. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways to find them if you're not sure. I know that you're an amazing agent. You probably would like ask, or you might even take it upon yourself to look. Google is an amazing resource, but I'm going to show you a couple other ways that you could find this information if you have an escrow in an outside area that you're not super familiar with. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you through car. Can you see my screen? Okay, when you go to car, this is where I go when I'm going to write listings or offers. Okay, I go here, I log in, and then you click on transactions. Everybody might do this phase slightly different, but it all gets you to the same place. So when you click here, it goes to this screen. It says like realtor secure transactions, right? And then I click on zip forms, access now. When you do that, it takes you to your own specific portal. You have to log in one more time. Hold on a second. Let me redo this.
Just so you know, Suzanne, I can only see.
Here we go. It takes me, first it takes you here. You have to click there and then you have to, it takes you to another screen. And then
I don't see those other screens. Just so you know, there's just one box that's up and it's already in your account for zip forms. I'm not seeing what you're doing.
Are you seeing this screen? Right here it says dashboard.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, just that screen.
This is where it's going to take you anyway, eventually. So this is my zip forms dashboard. This is where all of my listings and my buyer purchase contracts are typically written. Once I get them written here, I'll either download or forward by email some signature way for signatures. And then everything else I pretty much do through SkySlope. But this is where all of your legal forms are going to be. Okay. So if I click on forms, let me know, does this come up? You can see this, and I usually just like the classic version because I'm old and I'm stuck in my ways. So can you see this little box that comes up? It says form libraries. So this is where you go to find your addendums and your, you know, all your car forms, right? So if you click here, this little drop down menu opens up other documents that you may or may not find useful. And just because a brokerage requires specific forms doesn't mean that you can't use additional forms. Does that make sense? So if you have a client who's a little bit squirrely and you want to make sure you cross every checkbox, you're dotting all your I's and crossing your T's, there are a lot of forms in here that you could use additionally if you felt inclined. Just because it's not required doesn't mean you can't use them, okay? There's probably more forms in here than I can even remember using. I don't use lots of them, but I do use additional stuff to protect myself because I've been in compliance for so long. I've seen people get in trouble for not making something perfectly clear to someone else. And even though it might be covered in your TDS and it might be covered in NHD and it might be covered somewhere else, they can still claim, you didn't tell me. I had no idea. I DocuSigned some stuff and it just scrolled through all these forms and I just put my initials, but I didn't read it and you didn't tell me. And sometimes you can still end up in litigation, even though something has been addressed multiple times. So if it's something that I feel like is really important, I will, I know of some of them just because of my history, but a few of them, like I'll get into that in a minute. So because you and I believe are both CAR members, so these CAR Association of Realtors documents will be in here. There's an American Home Shield. I'm sure this has to do with home warranty, finance help library, CAR sample letters, which might come in handy for some reason, and then Delta Association of Realtors. So you're a Delta member? Okay, so if I click on that, down here now, it gives me all of the areas that Delta Association is going to provide me additional disclosures for these areas, such as Alameda County. Now, Alameda County covers quite a few cities. We have our Contra Costa one that covers a lot, and there's a lot buried within it. But when I was at Keller Williams, we had to use the CAR disclosure, which covered all of the Contra Costa areas. Specifically, it's like, I don't know, 6 or 7, 9 pages long. And it says in there about the Delta, the Discovery Bay, blue algae, and, certain things. Like back in the day, you had to have, the water meters were being changed. And if you were in escrow, it was kind of not clear who was responsible for that. So is it responsible for the seller to make sure that gets done prior to escrow and they're accumulating those fees? Or is it something that the buyer is going to do after close of escrow and they're going to promise to pay for that? And some buyers didn't feel like it was their responsibility. And some sellers were like, well, I don't want to, pay the money to have that done yet because I'm not on the route. There was like a planned map that they were going to do all of the, because all those houses were built in the 50s, 60s, early 70s. So it was something that their private water department needed to do. And there was argument about who was going to incur the cost of that to get it done. So we had printed from the actual water department, like from their website, what the plan was and how much it was supposed to cost and what streets they were starting with, and eventually they were going to get around to the entire neighborhood unless people jumped the gun and did it ahead of time, and all these things. Plus you have, because it's an unincorporated area for a while, you had to have the gas shutoff valves at each of the gas appliances, each of them, and outside. So if you figure you've got your water heater and your dryer and a number of other things that could be gas powered, you had to have gas shutoff valves in 2 or 3 places within the property, also outside. And that was also a cost. So to be overly clear, I printed out things from the website for Contra Costa County in regards to that. And sometimes I would have my clients initial that pay, like, really going overboard telling you about this, but I just want to be clear. And right now, the whole fire hazard thing is, and insurance is a little bit sketchy like that, because sometimes people are trying to purchase properties and they're spending every dime they've got to get in and overbidding, and then they're having trouble getting insurance, and you don't want to wait till the 11th hour to address that. So sometimes it's good to have that like initialed and then with your offer so that you are addressing that early instead of late in the game and then the deal can go sideways. So anyway, I'm going round and round. So Alameda County, if I open this, it's going to show me all of the areas. I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay, can you see? Okay, so Alameda County has all of these pages. Let's see. It's a 23-page disclosure. And it talks about, I'm just going to scroll through here really quickly. I'm going to make this a little bigger so that I can see more. Market condition advisories, all kinds of stuff about tempered glass, fireplaces, wood burning appliances, square footage. A lot of this is the same as the Contra Costa one, but at some point it's going to get in here specifically about certain areas. Let's see. Oh, this is kind of a new-ish kind of thing. Online photos kind of says once your photos are put out there, we can't really take them off. And I had a guy that was a buyer of a property was angry that the photos were still all over the internet and he had already closed escrow and he didn't want the pictures up there anymore. This was like a year and a half ago before I came here. And he was yelling and screaming at our broker on the phone, yelling and screaming at the agent, going on and on and on about how you need to take these pictures down. It's my house now and I'm not giving you permission to have these photos still up there. But the previous owner had paid a photographer to take photos to market the property and to help sell it, and now this new owner was angry. And we don't have control over what is taken and rebroadcast on 100 other websites, so that was interesting. So they now are having some verbiage about that in here. Water heaters, animals, blah blah blah. Okay, let me get to a page where they're going to talk about the Contra Costa one. Is a lot like this. So towards the end of it, middle to the end of it, it starts talking about, okay, city and county advisory. So there's noise because of the airports in Livermore and Hayward. There's a little airport in Santa Ramon, and then of course Oakland, right? San Francisco Bay regulations, flood benefits. Let's see. Sewer lines. So some areas have sewer laterals that are a point of sale ordinance that needs to be addressed before the sale and before you close escrow. Talks about EBMUD, which is the water district over there in Alameda County, which could be different than out here or some other place, right? Let's see, sidewalk repair ordinance programs for Alameda County. And it tells you areas: Ashland, Castro Valley, Fairmont, Cherryland, unincorporated, Hayward, Fairview, and San Lorenzo. You might not know where your potential property lands, but it's kind of our business and we have to do our due diligence to figure that out. Alameda City, the city of Alameda, not just the county, but here now the city has some ordinances. Let's see what else I got. Berkeley sidewalk repair, Berkeley building energy saving ordinance, Livermore regulations, and there's links here so you can learn about that. Sometimes, like if I had a property in Livermore, I would need to use this disclosure, but I might also click on this link right here that takes me to the city of Livermore and either copy that and email it to my client and ask them to please reply that they received, or even go in and like download this information and have them initial somewhere. Meadowbrook Village Association, Oakland, Piedmont. So as you can see, each area, and then there's resource information here at the back of the form, all the way in the. So if I was a buyer's agent and they were buying somewhere in one of these areas, I might drop a little initial box right here when I'm docu-signing something, as well as each line item that might be of interest to them. And then again, back here where the signatures are required, just because it makes them stop in the process of docu-signing, and the forms don't just, 23 pages is going to be all blah, 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 and then all of a sudden you're at the bottom and they probably didn't read much of it. We can't say that everyone's going to be that way, but I can guarantee there are some people that are not going to read that. So just to protect myself as an agent, I would drop their signature here as required. But then also if there was something in here, like the Berkeley sidewalk ordinance, I would make them initial right next to it. So it would bring it to the front of their mind, right? This is something that we either need to address now or it could be addressed later. Okay, so there's also a Castro Valley purchase agreement addendum. If you're writing an offer in Castro Valley, you're going to need this. Okay. There's a City of Oakley, which is nearby us, right? Let's look at that one. So here's the Contra Costa City of Oakley purchase agreement addendum. And it's got information in here that is referencing, let's see. If a buyer has any questions or concerns regarding their legal rights and obligations, they should consult with their own qualified California real estate attorney about something in here. Okay, so here's the sewer lateral. It addresses it either has been provided or has not been provided. It's either in compliance or it's not in compliance. When I was at Keller Williams, we had to use this form for every Oakley property, whether it was our listing or our purchase. I'm not sure if Monica is wanting to do that, but I'll let her address that. But just as an agent, you're aware that that's here and you probably should use it. And then there's a
So
signature
now
spot here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When it says in compliance or not in compliance, so is that like once you've had inspections done and it's
Well, yeah,
determined, like,
so you have to have the sewer lateral, right? And the sewer lateral
right,
inspector might say, oh, it's already in compliance because it's been replaced within the last 20-year timeline. It's like, it's a 20-year. So either look right here, it says the property is less than 20 years old or it's already been fixed and repaired. So that would then make it in compliance.
okay,
And the seller could provide the certificate, right? If it's not
right,
in compliance, it means the home is older than 20 years old and maybe the seller's just getting around to selling it and they haven't had it done yet. And sometimes the buyer will say, don't worry about it to make their offer stronger, right? Don't worry about it. I'll do it. I'll do it after. I'll do it,
okay,
and they could check this and waive it. But most of the time we actually need to get the report and the inspection done so that we can provide that as information to potential buyers. Here is the condition of the sewer lateral as of today, right?
okay.
And the report could say it's fine, it's nearing the stage, kind of like a roof, where it may need to be repaired, but not yet. You might still be
Mhm.
within that 20-year, you might be at year 19 and you just want to be careful, right? You just want to be proactive. So this would be a good form to have. And as a buyer's agent, it's a good form to have so that you can show your buyer that you know what you're doing, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see. There's an El Cerrito purchase agreement addendum. So if you're buying or selling an El Cerrito, Hercules, Pinole, Richmond, San Pablo, and other unincorporated areas, you kind of have to know your area and look into it, right? Okay, so that's where you can find them through CAR. CAR is a really great place to start because it's the website is available as long as you have internet. You can go to the website and it's all in the cloud, right? And they have lawyers and legal representatives that help them keep everything up to date. And if you go through this way, you're always getting the latest and greatest version. So if you're saving things to your desktop and you're using, an older version, this Alameda one, for example, was modified in 7 of 22. So just last year in July, they modified something. I know it's been around a lot longer than that. Some of them are going to be older versions if they haven't updated or revised them yet, but this is a good place for you to go to always look for these. Okay.
So I don't know anything different because how I was trained was to go through the zip
Good,
form
good.
process. I really like it because you enter all of the information for the property. It pulls, you can have it all pulled from the MLS.
Yep.
So in my eyes, I don't know why I would do anything different.
Okay, well, I'm
Um,
going to show you a cool thing that is not
okay,
here because you and I are Delta Association members. If we did business down in South Bay or San Francisco or somewhere farther away, we would not know if, let's say Monterey or something, we wouldn't have access to any of those local disclosures here because it's only giving us Delta local area-ish, right? So what I'm going to show you in Sky Slope, I have to move my field of vision over. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to minimize this. Hopefully this works. Can you see my Sky
no,
Slope?
it's set up to
Okay, hold on.
only see that square for some reason.
Let me go to okay. I want to maximize. I had to minimize my Zoom people. Okay, here we go. New share. Okay, how about now?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see that.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So in Sky Slope, this is really cool. If you log into your account, your name should be up here on the upper right. Okay. I'm an administrator, so I have access to everybody's stuff, but they have this button called Tips. If you click here, you have Forms, DigiSign, and Breeze. DigiSign is a free document signature platform that they have. So it's just pretty much just like DocuSign, but it's called DigiSign. So it's a digital signature format. If you go to Forms, I'm gonna click here. Let me know if you can see this screen. Yeah? Okay. If you are wanting to look for, hold on, oops. Okay. Up here on the upper left says SkySlope Forms, Files, Templates, and Browse Libraries. If I go to Browse Libraries, this new screen comes up. You see this? Okay. If I click here, oh, I have to move you again. If I click here and I go to all libraries and I click there, look at this. I have access to Alameda, Amador County, Butte County, Calaveras County, Contra Costa, El Dorado, Fresno, Kern, Lake, Los Angeles,
Mhm.
Monterey, Napa, Orange, all of these areas, because when I set up my account, I incorporated all of those. And I think I probably might have had you do that when you were creating your Sky Slope count. If not, I can help you find these easily. So if I'm doing, let's see, let's just say Napa, for instance. I'm going to open this and it's going to give me the Napa County local documents. There's a fire advisory, a Napa County disclosures and information advisory, which is kind of like that one we just talked about, which talks about all this stuff. And I can add it to an existing file that's in here already if I wanted to. Our property transfer affidavit. Let's look at something else. Let me see if I can. I'll have to go back in. All libraries. There we go. So pick an area maybe that you're helping people look right now. San Jose?
Sacramento, well, is Roseville a Sacramento County?
Yeah,
Because I have somebody
definitely.
looking at Roseville, yeah.
And I know for sure that there's stuff there just because of my years and experience. Oh, here I have to just minimize. I can't look at you anymore. My little Zoom screen's in the way. Hold on. Okay, so you can kind of see here. I had these Napa ones in here, but now I need to hold on. Let me get rid of this one. There we go. Sacramento County has a disclosures advisory also. So here we've got, and then if you look right here on the front page, it'll tell you Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment, Gold River, Rancho Cordova, Country Club, Folsom, Madison, Sacramento County. So even though Roseville, you have to probably Google what county is Roseville in just to confirm, because it could be
Yeah.
there's another up there. Just look through all this,
Okay.
and then you would have your clients sign it, add it to your file. Okay. Let's see what else.
Oh, Roosevelt's in
areas.
Placer County.
There you go. So let's look for Placer. There we
There's
go.
one.
There's one for Placer. Okay. Oh, and there's two. There's right to farm and the wood stove. So a lot of environmental changes are happening where they don't want people to burn wood, right? Because it adds to the air quality and all this stuff. And it also probably could help create some fires. But you get embers that come out through the hopefully your chimney has all the dampers and all these things on it, but they're not putting wood stoves anymore, wood burning, in any of the newer construction. It's all gas. So you would need these included in your file. I'm trying to think, who am I? All libraries. Let me look again. I think there's something. Okay, San Francisco. We'll just do that because I know there's a lot there. Okay, there's just one.
What about
Trying to
Santa
think.
Clara? I don't know
Let
if
me
there's a lot
see.
there, but
Let me see. Calaveras might have more.
oh,
Okay, so
Calaveras.
they have a special TDS for their area. So that's really good to know because we're just using the car version, and it's probably okay to just have one or the other. But see what this says. Interesting. Let's see, regional advisory. So these are all drought, fire prevention, and then there's links here for if your client has questions about something. So it's going to the actual third party that is creating these ordinances instead of them asking you. You can't be an expert at everything everywhere. It's good to know that you can find these if you need to. And there are two ways. So the first way I showed you is through CAR. That's going to show you the areas that you're member of because of your association. But because we do business everywhere, all over the state, kind of, within a 1 hour radius, every direction is going to be different counties with different requirements, right? With local ordinances and things like that and special requirements. So this is really great to know that these are in here in Sky Slope, and they have a link to all these places, and supposedly they're pulling the latest and greatest and providing them here for us. So let's see, where else did we want to look? Placer we already looked at, right?
Yes.
Did we look at El Dorado? There's one there. I mean, they're all over. So it's good to know that these are here. So if you ever need to investigate something and provide additional information to your people, let's see, Sonoma. So Sonoma's got a few. And if you aren't sure, so let's say I'm gonna go to Google now because can you see?
Yes.
Local, state. Or where are you, Amador? Where's Roseville?
Where?
What did we say?
Oh, Roosevelt's Placer.
Okay. Here we go. So Placer County Association. Where's my thing here? We're not a member, but it might let us see what there is. Wood stove disclosure, tax bill search, right to farm. It may not let us, but it does look like there are some. So that leads me to believe that ca.gov might also give you access to those. If we can't get them, okay, so here we go. This is what I wanted. I've been in here before. Let's see, let me put this. We can also call those association of realtors up there to find out, or sometimes even ask the other agent. If you have like a listing agent,
Hmm.
ask them, are there any special local disclosures for your area that I need to be aware of
Hmm.
that aren't in your disclosure packet? And if you put that in writing and they reply, no, there aren't any, and then you find out there are, then you're doing your due diligence. But
Mhm.
see, why is it not letting me see this? Usually I can find.
Hmm.
So click here to download the disclosure. Click here to download the guidelines in a PDF. Here's some regarding your for sale signs or open house. If you put them in specific areas, they may snatch them up for you.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, too funny.
Maroon?
And green, that's
Green?
funny. Okay.
What?
For
I
this
didn't realize that.
association. Nope, this is for the Placer County Association of Realtors. So if you're one of their realtors, you have to follow these guidelines. So here's the right to farm, and then there's home sales statistics for up in that area. So I usually, if I have an agent ask me, I just tell them, I'm not sure, let's Google it together. If it's something that I'm not been exposed to and I just have no idea. But really SkySlope, having this, where did it go? And minimize it. Oh, over here. Having this list here makes it kind of easy,
Yeah,
as you
that's
can just
nice.
see
It's
literally everywhere, all the way down to LA. Let's see, I
Mhm.
wonder what that looks like. Ugh.
Oh,
Antelope
oh my
Valley,
gosh.
Burbank, Malibu, as predicted, right? Because Los Angeles County is pretty big, and all of those areas have had some kind of fire or specific disclosure in regards to, flooding and landslides and flash floods. And,
Mhm.
if you live in Malibu, you might be worried about, I don't know, erosion, and if your house
Mhm.
is on the cliff or on the beach, or who knows. So there's all of these disclosures here. Was that helpful?
Very helpful. I didn't know about this. So yes,
Okay, all right, good.
definitely learned a lot.
Do you have any questions?
Not yet.
Okay,
This is pretty good though.
okay.
Yeah, this is good.
So I'm gonna have you probably offline. We'll check your SkySlope, your specific account, and we'll find that I added actually all of these areas, even though I'm not doing business down in LA ever. I could refer someone down there, or I
Mhm.
might have a family member who has a house down there that I could list. Our
Yeah.
licenses are good for the state of California, but we really do business in pretty big area, but maybe not that large. But it's good
Yeah.
to know about these things, and in the
Sure.
back of our head know where to find the information if we don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. This was good.
Okay,
Thank you.
I guess that's it. We could get offline at any point, because that was
Okay.
kind of a short and sweet. Include those in your listings or escrows. There's line items in all of the templates within SkySlope for your files for local disclosure, because I just don't know where they're going to be. It could be in Discovery Bay, it could be in Oakley, it could be in Clayton. Clayton has their own. In fact, let's look at that one really quick, because even though it is within Contra Costa, here we go. So here we are, City of El Cerrito, Hercules, Oakley, Pinole, Richmond, and then here is the Contra Costa advisory itself. So I would use both. right?
Mhm.
If there's one for a specific
Right.
area, I would use this one because it goes over everything within the whole county, which if you live in Contra Costa County, you're subject to everything in the county. But then each of these cities right here have their own Morinda, or sorry, or Moraga Orinda. They have a special fire district requirement and abatement as well as hydrant capacity. So I would be concerned if I was buying in Moraga about fire insurance and what these specific addendums could say that might make it harder for me to get fire insurance and homeowners coverage,
Mhm.
right? Um, no smoking, vaping, and secondhand smoke. There's also one for Brentwood. Rossmore, which is that 55 and older community. There's specific
Mhm.
instructions
Hmm.
there for them. So back here at the back of the form, it's going to have all those areas. Um, Rentals and all that. So here's that one regarding the gas shutoff requirements back in 2010 that became a thing. So it says the city of Hercules. So these were in unincorporated areas that started out first, but then specific cities
Oh.
got in the mix. So City of Hercules has one specifically. And then uh, sewer lines, which we know about, right?
Mhm.
Um, if it's located within an HOA, the HOA may cover that, but you have to contact them and confirm. So here there's verbiage. Real estate and water property is in compliance with any applicable local sewer line requirements. Agents have no liability for ensuring there's compliance either before, during, or after escrow closes, but it's our due diligence to provide the clients with this information so that
Mhm.
they can look into it themselves if they want. Um, there was a weatherizing disclosure, which is like funny. What is that, right? In
Yeah.
Concord, City of Concord had one for a while, and I had to get information from their specific city website, and I was having my clients initial that. But here we are: no smoking, vaping, and secondhand smoke ordinances. City of Danville, San Pablo, Richmond, Walnut Creek, where you can't smoke in certain parts of the city. In some cases, e-cigarettes and vaping restrictions may also. So if you have a client who's really worried about this, you could. So here's Brentwood. This is really important. I would highly suggest you add signatures here for your clients if they're buying in Deer Ridge or Shadow Lakes, because what happened there? You're familiar with the area,
Oh,
right?
when the golf, yeah, the golf courses
Right.
are
So
closed
if you
and
have
yeah.
someone from out of area going up there, I mean, now it's pretty obvious because the vegetation is kind of taking off and you can tell what's being taken care of and
Yeah.
maintained and what isn't. But if you have someone from out of area buying up there and they're like, oh, this is amazing. I have this house on the golf course. Yeah, but
Mm.
the golf course is not, going to take care of that area anymore. You may have wildlife, you may have fire, you might have um I don't know, some concerns over there. So this actually addresses that the golf
Yeah.
course serving the communities of Shadow Lakes and Deer Ridge potentially impact the adjacent area known as Brentwood Hills. Environmental impact report will study the proposed plan on environment, population, traffic, blah, blah, blah. Buyers are encouraged to investigate whether or not the proposed development plan will impact their own present or future assessment of the value, desirability, and or development of any property that may be impacted by this proposed development plan. For more information, here you go, right?
Yeah.
What if they're going to build a building there that blocks your view? Or what if restaurant, or who knows? Anything could happen there,
Mhm.
right? El Cerrito has their specific thing, Moraga Orinda, et cetera, et cetera. Discovery Bay, here they talk about the town of Discovery Bay has their own water utility company that services them. And CSD is in the process of installing water meters at various residential properties that do not currently have water meters. Recipients of the new water meter may pay the full cost of the meter installation upfront, or they can pay for the meter in installments over a 10-year period. There will be an interest charge. So that's good to know. Mr. Seller, have you already done this? Is that something that's on the bill that I'm going to inherit now as the new buyer? Has it been done? Are you making payments or did you pay up front? The estimated cost range from, it says here, 500 to 1,500, depending on the type of equipment and complexity. I knew a few people that had to have parts of their driveways jackhammered up to access the plumbing. So it was like a thing. It might not be as big of a thing now, but at one point in time it was.
Wow.
So anyway, all the stuff, lots of information dependent upon the area.
Yeah.
All right. So hopefully this was helpful. If there's anything I can help you ever do or find, please come and see me.
Thank you, Suzanne.
And on that note, we're going to close out. Have a great Thursday.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.